Hello students, in this video we are going to study the remaining part of the chapter number 9. The chapter name is the Living Organisms, Characteristics and Habitats. Class 6, Subject Science, ncert. In the previous video of this chapter, we had seen that the presence of specific features and habitats which enables or which make plant or an animal to live in a particular habitat or a place is called adaptation. The specific features is known as the adaptations of that animal or plant for that particular habitat. Then after we had seen that the surroundings where these plants and animals live is called their habitat. And the habitats are categorized into two different types, that is terrestrial habitat and aquatic habitat. The plants and animals that live on land are said to live in terrestrial habitats. And some of the examples of terrestrial habitats are forests, then after grasslands, deserts, coastal and mountain regions. Then we had seen about aquatic habitat. So the habitats of plants and animals that live in water are called aquatic habitats, like ponds, lakes, rivers and oceans are some of the examples of aquatic habitats. Then we had seen that the two components of a biotic habitat are biotic components and abiotic components. And we had also seen the examples of these biotic and abiotic components. The living things such as plants and animals in a habitat are its biotic components. Various non-living things such as rocks, soil, air and water in the habitat make up or they made its abiotic components. We had seen that abiotic components play a major role in the growth and development of the organisms. That we will see by one activity here in this chapter. It is given to you how these abiotic components, that is air, water, sunlight or heat, affects to the growth of the plants. So here for that activity number 2 is given to you. We know that some plants grow from the seeds. Now let us look at some abiotic factors and their effect on seeds as they grow into the young plants. How these abiotic factors help in the growth of this seed. So for that one activity is given to you, that is activity number 2. For that you have to recall the activity number 5 in the chapter 1. We had performed that and in that we made sprouts from the moong and chana seeds. We sprouted the seeds of moong and chana in the activity number 5 of chapter number 1. And when these seeds turns into a sprout, it is said to have germinated. When you get sprouted seeds, you can say that these seeds are germinated. And this is the beginning of the life of a new plant. These sprouted seeds or these sprouts is known as the beginning of the life of the new plant. Now here in this activity you have to collect some dry moong seeds and then after you have to keep 20 to 30 seeds aside and rest of the seeds you have to soak in the water, or you have to dip the rest of the seed in the water for the whole day. Then after soaking these seeds into water, you have to divide the soaked seeds into 4 parts. And from these 4 parts, you have to keep one part completely submerged in water for 3 to 4 days. That means from this 4 part, you have to put one part or you have to dip this one part into water for 3 to 4 days. And then you do not have to disturb these dry seeds and the submerged seeds in the water. That means the 2 parts are there. One is dry seeds, another one is sprouted seeds which are submerged or dipped in water for 3 to 4 days. The next another part, keep one part soak seeds in a sunny room and another in a completely dark region like cupboard that does not allow any light to come in. Now from remaining 3 parts, you have to put one part in a sunny room and you have to put the another part in a completely dry room, dark room, or you can say dark region where there is the no sunlight. And the last part in very cold surrounding, like in refrigerator or with ice around them. And then after, rinse them and replace the water every day. So after this activity, you have to notice or you have to observe that after what happened with these seeds, different parts of these seeds, after a few days, do these seeds in all these 5 conditions germinate uniformly, or you can say equally, or do you find slower or no germination in any of these parts or any of these seeds? Do you realize now after performing this activity, you will find that the sock seed, which we had soaked for 3 to 4 days, and the dry seed do not germinate at all. And the soak seeds, which is kept in well ventilated, that means in a room where the enough sunlight is there, air can pass through easily. So in such kind of room, the seeds germinate properly. The seeds which are kept submerged in water and the dry seed did not germinate. And the seeds which are placed in a dark room, they will also not germinate properly. So we can say from this activity that the seed needs air, water, heat and sunlight in proper proportion, or you can say in proper amount for the germination. So now do you realize that abiotic factors like air, water, light and heat are important for the growth of the plants? After performing this activity, you will realize the importance of these abiotic factors, that is air, water, heat or light, for the growth of the plants. You can perform this activity at your home even. In fact, abiotic factors are important for all the living organisms. And we find that organisms exist in very cold as well as very hot climates, isn't it? We know that, and we find about the place where there is no any living organism, but we didn't find any such place on the earth where there is no living organism. That means the organisms are there, or they can survive in very cold and in a very hot climate even. So how do they manage to survive? So here one method is given to you to survive in such kind of climate or surrounding, that is adaptation. So this adaptation is the method by which these organisms get well adjusted into a such climates, that is very hot or very cold. So now let we see what is the adaptation of different habitats. So adaptation does not take place in a short time, because the abiotic factors of a particular region also change very slowly. This adaptation is not short-term process, because the climate or abiotic factors change very slowly of a particular region also. So those organisms which cannot adapt to these changes, they will die, and only the adapted ones survive. The animals or plants which cannot adapt or which cannot adjust in such kind of changes, that can not survive in such kind of habitat, or you can say such kind of surrounding. And the animals or plants who can adapt such kind of changes in abiotic factors, so they can survive in that particular surrounding. So organisms adapt to different abiotic factors in different ways, and this results in a wide variety of organisms in different habitats. The different animals and different plants have adapted these spatial features to survive in such kind of environment, and because of that we can find wide variety of these animals and plants, or you can say organisms, in different habitats. So now let us look at some habitats and understood the abiotic factors and adaptations of animals in these habitats. Now we will see the different habitats and how these plants and animals survive or adapted themselves in such kind of habitats. So next topic is a journey through different habitats. In that first one is some terrestrial habitats. We had seen that what is terrestrial habitat. In that we had seen that the plants and animals that live on land are said to live in the terrestrial habitat. So in terrestrial habitat, the first example is of deserts. So we discussed the abiotic factors of a desert, and we had also seen the adaptation in camels. What are the abiotic factors, how the climate is there, how the weather is there in the deserts and what is the different characteristics of ant camels in the desert. So what about the other animals and plants that are found in the deserts? We had seen about the camel. So now what about the other animals or plants? Do they also have some kind of or same kind of adaptations? So there are desert animals like rats and snakes, which do not have long legs that a camel has. The other animals which are found in the deserts are, two examples are given to you, that is rats and snakes. We had seen that camels have the long legs, and because of which they can protect themselves from the heat of the desert. But these rat and snakes do not have the long legs like the camels. So to stay away from the intense or very hard heat during the daytime, they stay in the burrows deep in the sand. Burrows, that means holes deep in the sand. They are living in the holes deep in the sand, and these animals come out only during the night when it is cooler, and when the surrounding is cooler during the night time, they only come outside from the burrows. Here in the figure 9.5, it shows that some typical plants that grow in a desert. So now let me see how these plants adapted to the desert environment. Here it is shown to you. In this first picture, desert animals are shown to you, that is rat and snake is shown to you in the burrows, that means a hole in the sand. They hide themselves to protect themselves from the heat of the desert. In this second picture, you can see some typical plants that grow in the deserts like cactus. Here one activity is given to you to find how these plants of the desert adapted themselves to the environment or to the different conditions of the deserts. Activity number 3 is given to you. For that you have to bring a potted cactus and a leafy plant to the classroom. You can perform this activity at your home also. If you have a cactus plant which is potted and leafy plant, then you can perform this activity. You have to take the potted cactus and leafy plant. Then after, you have to tie a polythene bags to some parts of these two plants, as we had done this in activity number 4 of chapter 7, where we studied about the transpiration in plants. In this activity, we tied the polythene bag to a particular leaves, or you can say particular stem of the plant. So same like that, you have to tie the polythene bag to some parts of these two plants. And then after, you have to leave these potted plants in a sun and then observe after a few hours. So after activity, you have to notice what happens to these different two plants, and you have to answer that, do you notice any difference in the amount of water which is collected in these two polythene bags? So if you will perform this activity, you will find that the polythene tied on the cactus plant has less water droplets on its inner surface as compared to the polythene on the other plant. That means you will find the less water in the polythene which is tied on the cactus plant as compared to the other plant. So we can say that plants that grow in desert lose less water through the transpiration. We had seen that the leaves of the plants perform the transpiration process. That means they are evaporating the water from their leaves. And this water is, in this activity, is collected by the polythene bag. So this process is known as the transpiration. So the plants that grow in the desert region, they lose less water by the transpiration process as compared to the other plants. So here it is also given to you that desert plants lose very little water through transpiration, and the leaves in the desert plants are either absent or very small, or they are in the form of the spines. Other than that, the desert plants have some of them do not have the leaves, or some has the very small leaves, or either they are in the form of the spines. That means the structure or shape like the needles, and this helps them in reducing loss of water from the leaves through the transpiration process. And the leaf-like structure you see in the cactus plant is in fact its stem. What we are seeing in this cactus plant, that is this stem. This one is the stem of this cactus plant, not the leaves. And photosynthesis in this kind of plants is usually carried out or performed by these stems. And this stem is also covered with a thick waxy layer. It has the thick waxy layer on this stem, and which helps them to retain, or you can say to hold the water in the tissues of this cacti plant. And most of the desert plants have the roots that go very deep into the soil to absorb the water, for absorbing water. As we know that in deserts the water amount is very less, so the roots of these plants go very deep in the soil for absorption of the water. So this is about the adaptations of plants and animals in desert, a terrestrial habitat. Now let me see why these cactus plants have thick waxy layer, or why their leaves are like these spines.
Why do cacti have spines?
Maybe they want to look like porcupines.
Very funny. Spines help cacti to reduce transpiration.
Well, I know all about vibration, but what's with this new thing called transpiration?
Transpiration is the loss of water from aerial parts, like stems and leaves, in the form of water vapor. These aerial parts contain stomata which allow water vapor to escape into the atmosphere.
So, shall we tape the aerial parts so that the vapor won't escape?
Oh, pay attention. In deserts, where cactus usually grows, there is scarcity of water. Also, due to high temperatures, the rate of transpiration is very high.
Oh.
Thus, the leaves of a cactus have modified into spines. Spines don't have stomata. Thus, the rate of transpiration is reduced, helping the cactus to save water.
The next terrestrial habitat is mountain regions. So these habitats are normally very cold and windy, and some areas even have the snowfall may take place in the winter season. The environment of the mountain region is given to you. It is very cold and windy, and in the winter season some area faces snowfall even. So there is a large variety of plants and animals living in the mountain regions. So now here some of the examples are given to you. Have you seen the kind of trees which is shown here in this figure 9.6? These kind of trees in the mountain region. These are the trees of the mountain region, and if you live in a mountain region or you had visited one, then you may have seen this kind of trees in larger numbers. But have you ever noticed that such trees naturally growing in other regions, like in forest or in the plains or in deserts? So no, you will not find these kind of trees in other habitat like plains or in the deserts. So how are these trees adapted to the conditions prevailing, or you can say present in their habitats? How these trees adjusted themselves in the such kind of conditions? So these trees are normally cone shaped. Their shape is like cone and have slopy branch. That means this kind of branch are there like these lobes. And the leaves of some such kind of trees are needle-like. The leaves of these plants are needle-like, and this helps the rainwater and snow to slide off easily. Because of this needle-like structure of the leaves and the slopy branches, the snow and the rain can easily slide off from the leaves or branches. And there could be trees with a shape very different from these that are also present on the mountains. So this is about cone-shaped trees in the mountains. Other than this cone shape, the other shapes with the other trees are also present in these mountain regions. They may also have different kind of adaptations to survive on the mountains. It may be possible they have the different adaptations to survive in the mountains. So this is about the plants in the mountain regions, or adaptations in plants in mountain regions. Now what about the animals? So animals living in this kind of region or mountain region are also adapted to the conditions that is present in this mountain region. Here in this next figure, figure 9.7, some of the mountain region animals are shown to you. So these animals have thick skin or the fur to protect them from the cold. For example, here some of the examples are given to you. Before that, let me see about these animals which are living in the mountain region. Here in the first figure, the snow leopard is shown to you, which is generally found in the mountain region. In the next figure, the yak is shown to you, and last one shows the mountain goat. This one is the mountain goat. So these are some of the examples of the mountain animals or animals which is found in the mountain regions. Here their adaptation is given to you. For example, yaks have the long hair to keep them warm. Yak has the long hairs to keep them warm, and snow leopard has the thick fur on its body, and it also includes the feet and toes. Including feet and toe, it has the thick fur. Snow leopard has the thick fur, and this protects its feet from the cold and when it walks on the snow. While walking on the snow, this thick layer of fur protects them from the cold. The mountain goat, another animal is about mountain goat. So mountain goat has strong hooves. Hooves, that means horny part on the foot. So they have the strong hooves for running up the rocky slope of the mountains. Mountain has this slope, so to walk or to run on these rocky slopes, mountain goat has the hooves. And as we go up in the mountains regions, the surroundings changes and we see different kinds of adaptation at different heights. While going on the mountain regions, the environment or the changes you will find in the surrounding at different heights. So you will also find the different kinds of adaptations at different heights. So this is about the adaptations of animals and plants in the mountain regions. The next terrestrial habitat is about grasslands. So a lion lives in a forest or a grassland, and it is a strong animal that can hunt or kill animals like deer. Lion is the example of the animal who lives in the grassland. So it is the strong animal and it can hunt other animals like deer. It is the light brown in color. Look at the picture of the lion and that of the deer. Here in the figure it is shown to you, first picture shows the lion and another next is shows to you deer. Now notice that how are the eyes placed in the face of these two animals? Are they in the front of the side of this face or on the side of the face? You will find that they have the eyes on the side of the face. That means on the two sides they have the eyes. So lions have long claws in their front legs that can be withdrawn inside the toes. From the toes they have the strong claws in the front legs. So do the features of a lion help it in any way to survive? So yes, definitely this feature, that is strong claws in their front legs, help them to survive in such kind of environment. And other than that, its color is light brown, so it helps it to hide in dry grassland. When it hunts for prey or animals to eat, the eyes in the front of the face allows it to have the correct idea about the location of its prey. The lion has the eyes on the front of their head, so it helps to get the idea about the location of its prey. And deer, so this is the adaptations of lion, grassland animal. Next animal is about deer. So deer is another animal that lives in the forest and grassland, and it has these strong teeth for chewing hard plant stems of the forest. So this is one adaptation, that it has these strong teeth. Because of that, it can chew the hard plant stems of the forest. A deer needs to know about the presence of predators, whether any predator is there or not, like animals like lions who can make its prey. So in order to run away from these kind of predators and not become their prey, it has the long ears to hear the movements of the predators. They have the long ears and their sense of listening or sense of hear is strong, so they can hear the sound or the movement of the predators. To stay away from predators, their ears can help them. And the eyes on this side, in deer, the eyes are on the side of the head. So this eyes on the side of its head allows it to look it in the all the direction of danger, for the danger. Because of their eyes, which is on the either side of the head, it helps them to look in the all the direction in the danger condition. So the speed of the deer helps them to run away from the predators. Other than that, their speed is also fast, so this speed helps the deer to run away from the predator. And there are many other features of the lion and a deer and other animals also and plants which help them to survive in their habitat. So this is about the animals and the adaptations of different animals which are found in the grassland. So this is about the terrestrial habitat. Next is aquatic habitat that we will study in the next video. So in this video we had seen that animals like camel, rat and snake are adapted to desert. The leaves in desert plants are either absent, very small, or they are present in the shape of spines. And this help in reducing the loss of water from the leaves through the transpiration. Hence these are adapted to desert. Then we had seen that the trees found in the mountain region or mountain areas are normally cone-shaped and have sloping branches. And the leaves of some of these trees are needle-like, and this helps the rainwater and snow to slide off easily. Then after we had seen that animals living in the mountain regions are also adapted to the conditions which is there in the mountain regions. They have the, like examples are given to you, that they have thick skin or fur to protect them from the cold. Then after we had seen about grassland. So in grasslands, the speed of the predator and the prey are important factor which helps them to survive in such kind of environment. So these are the things we had seen up to this video. In the remaining part we will study in the next video. Thank you.